Everybody, and welcome to my blog. I haven't gone live in a while, and here's why. I just got a new phone. I love it. I haven't really had anything to talk about, but today I decided, you've heard about my accident, you've heard about how I do things after my accident. I just got done working out today, and I'm very proud to say that I'm able to move my legs a little bit with my hips. I'm very proud that I can sit up straight for at least a minute, maybe. But that's better than I was doing. So that's a good thing. By the way, if you hear a noise, it's the wind. I'm sitting outside. So who was I before the accident? Well, that is an interesting question, because before I was 23, I was a very innocent person, very naive person. I was afraid of drugs. I was afraid of alcohol. And maybe that's a good thing, maybe not. But I was also, and still am, the type of person who liked to get involved in things, groups, make friends, everything like that. I was a very lonely person, though. And I would get myself involved in drama, which isn't good. I wasn't doing it on purpose, but I thought, well, if people can trust me enough to vent to me, I can vent to them. Well, sometimes that was good and sometimes not. But anyways, if you knew me back then, some people might have liked the old me. Some people might have liked the me that, moved to Alamogordo on a whim because my family decided that would be a good idea. I went through a training program for the blind at the New Mexico Commission for the Blind, even though when I was at the school, it was formerly known as the New Mexico School for the Visually Handicapped, but then a year after I graduated, they changed the name to the New Mexico School for the Blind and Visually Impaired. Anyways, I learned a lot there. I learned how to cook there. Well, I kind of learned how to cook before that, when I was a kid at Project Independence and at camp, but I learned more about cooking at the school when I had to live alone in the cottage on campus for like a semester. And I had to cook my own meals. So anyway, I graduated from the school. I think I'm going to turn so the wind isn't in the microphone so bad. There. Maybe that will be better. Anyway, I graduated. I went to the commission. And there was a lot of partying there, which I didn't want anything to do with because of things in my history. So I stayed out of the way. And of course, the director, Adelmo, used to joke with me and tell me, "Why are you such a troublemaker? Why are you getting in trouble all the time?" And I'd be like, I didn't do anything. And
learn more. Messenger now. Tessamage.
So
welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your messenger now. 0 watching now. 0 likes. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community. Learn more. Switch camera. But chat options.
Anyways,
Messenger. Now. Tessa Mitchell to close.
so I went through the program. I got my own apartment. I got a job at Holloman Air Force Base as a switchboard / telephone operator. I was taking classes at the community college in Alamogordo in MSUA.
Messenger.
But
now. Rikija Chishon to
I can't say that I was totally happy because I wasn't exactly
Messenger. Now. Receipt.
doing what I wanted to do. I was doing what my family wanted me to do and what I knew I should do to be successful. What I wanted to do was go to college full time. I wanted to go out of state. I wanted to explore. And I mean, I enjoyed my job at the base. I answered phones. I connected people to their families overseas. And I was good at it. And on my days off, I'd go to school. I was an A and B pretty much student,
Messenger. Now. Rikija
except in
Messages. Now. Heather. Thank you, sweetheart.
stuff like statistics.
Filters. Button.
But that came later. Anyway, I had tutoring, I almost said
Messenger.
tutelage,
Now. Tessa Mitchell to close friends. Good you breathe.
in math, and a great math tutor. I loved her. Her husband took me up on a hot air balloon.
Messenger.
I
now.
enjoyed
Tessa Delaney.
sports like hiking. I'd go hiking every chance I got. In 2007, I went to, well, let me back up. In 2004 and 2005, I lived on my own and then moved in with a roommate. We got along sometimes, but a lot of times we didn't. We were very different people. We had a lot of fun, though, I have to say. And I had a lot of fun with other friends. We'd do things like have praise and worship nights, go to Village Inn at 3 o'clock in the morning because, heck, we were up all night anyway, and why not? You know, I did stuff like that. Oh, yeah. Might I mention the walks I never told anyone about at 1 o'clock in the morning because, you know, it was warm outside and we couldn't sleep, so my roommate and I would go for walks to the park. Probably not a very safe idea. But in Alamogordo, we thought, no one's going to bother us. And no one did. You know, it was pretty safe back then. We did have fun going for our walks. And one night, the cat followed us. My roommate's cat, Frodo, followed us on one of our
Messenger.
walks. We
now.
had
Rikija Chishon to
we had to send him home. I also used to go, we had a bus that went around town, and I used to get on there and ride with the bus driver and talk to her, listen to Sugarland, listen to all kinds of music, go on the bus up to the mountains, listen to music with the other bus driver, who was the boss's wife, who encouraged us to sing Amazing Grace over the radio. That was great. Couldn't get away with that now, but it was fun. I had a lot of fun back then. I look back on it now and, you know, it was a lot of fun. In 2007, my life changed a lot because I went to Colorado and I was a good student there too. But I was out of state now. My grandpa was paying for my tuition. A lot of stuff started happening in my family. Won't go into that, but a lot of stuff was going on. My grandpa was getting sicker. The grandpa that raised me, that I grew up with, I was getting depressed. So I got curious about things. And
Messenger. Now. Rejoin the call.
I decided to experiment with marijuana in the summer of 2007 because I was hanging around a lot of homeless people because I was doing homeless ministry, but then I was kind of curious at the same time. So I experimented, and I liked it. So I would experiment with the kids whenever I got a chance. Some of you might think that's so rebellious of me, and it was very rebellious of me. But it didn't stop me. I did experiment when I was not in school, 2007, 2008. I experimented with caffeine pills because I was unhappy with my image. I mean, I did all these experimenting stuff. In 2009, I did not experiment with things except the caffeine pills. And then 2010, I started again. 2011, I was clean, running. I used to do a lot of running.
Messenger. Now.
I'd take my cane and I would run along the curb of the street, just jog, and I would jog for miles, jog and walk, listening to books. It was a way to get out the frustration of the day or the night or whatever. I did all of these things, and then 2012, I moved back to Alamogordo because I wanted to get away from partying. I started partying and drinking and using marijuana with a neighbor I had, and I wanted to get away from it. So, and I experimented with spice, which was horrible. Could have killed me. God saved me, and I'm very happy about that. But I moved back to Alamogordo, and met for the third time the guy that is currently kind of someone I'm talking to, and we became friends. He was my roommate at the time's brother. That roommate and we took walks and everything too, but then she fell off the wagon and started doing
Messenger.
a lot of
Jessica.
drugs and alcohol again, and I got out of that situation, thank God. I moved back in with my former roommate, who we said we'd never be roommates again, but we did. And things were going really well until I met another friend who used marijuana and started getting pressured, and not pressured, but peer pressured again, and started using it again. But I was still, I was surviving. I was managing to take walks again with my roommate, to go on the bus rides again, go hiking again. Heck, I went hiking quite a bit with my friend Carrie, who I miss Carrie. Anyway, yeah, I do. I miss her. And so I would go on walks with them, go on walks with my friend Gary, who also drove for the bus company. I became friends with all these people again. And started riding the bus with one of my other friends who used to drive before. And it was a lot of fun. But then another guy came in my life, and
Messenger. Now. Jessica.
I don't want to say we were dating because I had other interests at the time, but we talked, we walked, but then he started messing with me and stuff. So that ended. during this time, I was dating someone in New Orleans. I took a trip out there, got into partying again with him and other friends. Came back, and that was when I started just going downhill again. But then I met Eric. Eric was, well, I had met him in 2009 at a convention in Detroit, Convention for the Blind. And we hung out and had a lot of fun. And we're in touch for a couple of years, and then we lost touch. But then we started talking again. He called me and he told me that he wanted to be with me. So we started dating a little bit unofficially. I went to see him in Ohio. We hung out on the porch swing, spent nights just talking, listening to music.
Messenger. Now. Rakija Chisho.
I wanted to go with him so badly to Michigan with him and his family, but I had another commitment. I was helping out with Special Needs Vacation Bible School, and that was my commitment. Had to do that. I've been doing that for years. So anyways, I'll talk about that in another video. But Eric and I became serious in September. I moved out of my situation in Alamogordo because it was starting to get bad again because of me being rebellious and my roommates being pretty sheltered and not really wanting anything to do with that. So anyways, Eric and I became serious. I would be rebellious around him, but he didn't care. He loved me for who I was, and I loved him despite the fact that he was sick. In November, we moved into our own apartments next door to each other because we wanted to be, you know, do what God wanted us to do, but at the same time, we were active. And then in February, he passed away. His illness
Messenger. Now. Rakija join.
got the best of him, and he died. So life went downhill for me. I just got really depressed. I lost the love of my life. I said to him when he was passing away, I told him I loved him in French. I can't think of the phrase right now. I'll think of it one day again. But we were learning French together, so it was kind of a code for us. And then passed away and stuff happened. Again, I won't go into the details, but stuff happened to me, and it was painful. It was hard. In May, I moved back to Albuquerque. Lived in a hotel room for 2 months. Got my own apartment again, and everything was alright. Everything was going better. I was going to Sagebrush. I was involved in a small group, involved in the choir at Hoffmantown. Did Christmas productions. It was a really good 2 years for me. I did do some marijuana on the side. I won't lie about it, but
Messenger. Now. Jessica Lake.
it was a good 2 years for me.
Switch camera. Button.
I was happy. And then in May of 2016, my accident changed everything. And I had a really hard time with it. Really hard time with the pain, which still bothers me today. But I'm learning to be happy again. I love thinking back on these memories and talking about them. I love thinking about the times on the bus when I would sing to the radio, and Regina, the driver, didn't care. It didn't bother her. Or Carol, my friend Carol, she didn't care if I sang to the radio. Heck, I even introduced her to some Christian rock. I wonder if these people ever think about me, if they remember me. It's just thoughts that go through my brain. But anyway, no matter how much wrong I've done, I'm still me. I'm still God's child, and I'm a happy person. And I have to forgive myself for the stupid stuff I've done. And just be happy with the good memories. So I hope you guys liked this
Chat
video.
options. Switch camera. Learn more. Button. Switch chat options.
And
Filters.
I'm gonna go now.
Options. Options. Button.
I hope
Finish.
you guys
Button.
are having a good day. Talk to you.